That was the moment that I knew I was being gaslit by my doctor, and I had this feeling that something was wrong. I want to give you guys my 3 hot tips on what you can do starting today to start working on getting your inflammation levels down, okay? Hi, hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlene Town, your chronic illness bestie, and in today's video, you guys, we are talking all about the medical field and being gaslit by doctors. If that's content that you guys like to see, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss another video just like this one. And without further ado, let's jump into this video. All right, so we're gonna just plain it out and say it. Like, there are some really good medical doctors out there, and I truly believe in my soul that doctors are doing the best they can with the information that they have. However, as a female and as somebody who has lived with chronic pain and chronic illness since I was a kid, I was told my entire youth growing up that there was nothing wrong with me, that the only reason I was complaining about my stomach aches and the certain things that were going on was because I was trying to get out of school. And my parents didn't believe me, the doctors didn't believe me, and so not only did I start to lose trust in myself, I thought I was crazy. I thought that the feelings that I was feeling were not real, because if a doctor was going to tell me that's not true, and then convince my parents the same thing, that I 100% stopped trusting myself. So when I got older and I really started showing symptoms from my chronic illness, I was already so frustrated with the medical field, right? So when I was 20 years old, 19. I was between 19 and 20 years old, my first digit blew up. My thumb exploded, and up to this point I had had really high inflammation levels, really bad back, and I was under really high stress. At this time, I was putting myself through college, I was living on my own, I was working 3 jobs and going to school full-time to support myself, and I was really stressed out, okay? Just, that was a lot going on for my body as somebody who has chronic pain and chronic illness. And so I started seeing doctors, and I would go in and I would show them my thumb, and I had a doctor tell me, it's your generation, it's a generational thing, you must have texter's thumb. And I was like, I'm 20 years old and my thumb hurts so bad it feels like it's broken. You've taken x-rays and you've done blood work, and the x-rays come back, my thumb's not broken, and my inflammation levels come back extremely high, but you tell me that I have texter's thumb and to go home and to ignore it. Or the second doctor I saw, they just gave me a brace for my thumb and said, well, just live with it. Good luck. So I was like, what the heck? Like, what is going on? I went back to the doctors several times and I kept getting blown off over and over and over again. And the first thing that I really want to say about gaslighting, because that is gaslighting. When a medical professional is going to sit there, look you in the face and tell you that your pain's not real, that the feelings that you're feeling are not real, that the symptoms that you're experiencing are not real, that's gaslighting. That is not okay. Your feelings will always be valid. Your pain is always valid, and it is true. You're not making it up. You're not crazy. It's not in your head. They just can't find a reason as to why the inflammation is there, and so they can't give you an answer, okay? So the first thing I really want to stress is that you get to find a doctor that wants to work for you and with you, okay? You don't have to sit here and listen to somebody who is telling you that you're crazy or that your pain isn't real. Like, find a new doctor. You don't need that doctor. I know it's really overwhelming to try to find a new doctor, but it is essential for your success to have a doctor who is willing to listen to you, who validates your feelings, validates your pain, and is willing to do the work to figure out what is actually going on. All right, so like I said, I had been blown off by doctors for most of my life, and it took 7 years to finally get a diagnosis of psoriatic arthritis. And so in those 7 years, I saw so many doctors, okay? I saw internal medicine specialists. I saw multiple different GPs. I tried different holistic doctors, and I had a common theme, okay? So I kept looking, but the problem was I was young and I was female and I had not been taught to advocate for myself. Not only that, I didn't talk to anyone about my pain and my pain levels, and so I always played them down. So even going into a doctor's office, I didn't want people to see how much pain I was in, and so I would give them my medical history, and I actually had an internal medicine specialist stop and look at me, and she went, well, based on your history, it doesn't sound like you're lying to me and just looking for meds. Up until this point, I did not take any meds. I was refusing meds, actually, and this very same doctor, within 10 minutes, before she even looked at blood tests, ran any tests of her own, she handed me a medication and said, you absolutely have to start this right now. You're gonna die without it, but we need to get your blood work checked every 3 to 6 weeks because it can rip the corneas off the back of your head. And I was like, no, take that back. I do not want that. You haven't even diagnosed me yet. You don't even know what's really wrong with me. Why would you give me a medication that you don't even know that I don't even know what it's for? You don't even know what it's for. You're just gonna pump my body full of medication and that the corneas could rip off the back of my head. I think I was 25 at the time. I was like, no, take that back. And she literally looked at me and was like, you're gonna die without this medication. And I was like, well, it sounds like I'm gonna die with it. So I'm just not gonna take it. Thank you. And I left. So it's important to keep looking for a doctor that's willing to listen to you, okay? And that you guys can come up with a treatment plan together, okay? So I dove into naturopathic medicine, figuring out how food can heal the body. I actually went back to school to learn food nutrition and how food breaks down in the body because I wasn't getting answers from anywhere. And I had been reading books like Forks Over Knives and the Lupus Recovery Diet, which talked about how plant-based diets can cure autoimmune diseases. And at that time, I was desperate. And these books had people who had chronic pain and chronic illness like I had, and they were being cured by eating a plant-based diet. Now, I didn't know how to do it properly. I didn't really know a lot about food and diet at the time. And every doctor that I talked to about it, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to take medicine, but I really want to heal my body with food. They told me I was crazy, that there was no way that food could affect your body in that way. And so I was just feeling really defeated. So I went back to school and I learned how food breaks down in the body, but still, you know what I mean? It was like I was young and I didn't have the whole life thing figured out, you know what I mean? Like I still wanted to go out and be young and have fun with my friends and go out drinking. And I didn't really take into consideration how that was affecting me. Part of the problem too was that I just didn't know what was wrong with me. And so I just felt crazy all the time because you couldn't see the pain. You couldn't see how much pain I was in and nobody could see. And so I just didn't talk about it, right? And so I want to stress that it doesn't matter if you're seeing a holistic doctor, a naturopath, a general GP, Western medicine, whoever it is, you guys need to have the same goal. Okay, because one of the first holistic doctors that I had, I gave him my symptoms. And at this point, I was in so much pain, you guys. I hadn't slept for literally years. I was going crazy. Things were not well in my brain because I was so tired. I felt like a zombie most days. I might get 1 to 2 hours of broken sleep a night, but I was in so much pain, I couldn't sleep. And so my first holistic doctor, one of the first holistic doctors that I saw, his thought process was okay, well, let's give you energy and let's keep you awake. So despite me dude, I just need to sleep. I need to sleep. He was well, let's do B12 shots. Let's do these certain mushrooms. Let's do this. Let's do these B12 shots all the time. So I was doing B12 shots every 3 days, and it's like a tetanus shot, you guys, in your butt cheek or in your thigh. They hurt like a mother. They gave me shooting, tingling pains down my legs. B12 shots I'm sure can be great, but in that quantity for me was really not good. Also, I didn't have a problem being awake. I had a problem sleeping. So by the time I found my current holistic doctor, who I've been seeing for 5 or 6 years now, she was like, well, what if we helped you sleep? And I was like, yes. Like, yes, I am desperate to get a good night's sleep. She made me a holistic tincture that aids in relaxing my body to go to sleep. And it was life-changing. Like, being able to get sleep was life-changing, and good sleep, life-changing. So make sure that you find a doctor who you guys can have a game plan together. Like, you guys have to have the same goals, and somebody who's willing to talk to you about it, who's not sitting up here on a pedestal that's like, I know everything, I'm gonna just like lord over you and tell you what you need and you do it. Like, that doesn't work ever. But it's your body, and you know your body best. So if something isn't working, you need to be able to communicate that. And so you need to be able to have somebody who's willing to be open enough to have that conversation. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, you guys. So the real healing for me began in January of 2017 when I did my very first elimination diet properly. Now, I know I've talked about this so many times on my channel, but in case you're new here, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. I did the elimination diet in the Paleo Cure by Chris Kresser. It changed my life. Okay, so in January of 2017, I did this elimination diet properly. Now, if you guys are interested in elimination diets, if you need guidance, if you need somebody to hold your hand and guide you through an elimination diet, how to do it properly, how to reintroduce foods properly, how to figure out your mindset around food and your body, I have a program that's open right now that is teaching women with chronic pain, chronic illness, people who need to learn how to eat right for their body. It is open right now. The doors will be closing on January 29th. So if you guys want to jump into this program, get 12 weeks of me guiding you through how to do an elimination diet and how to reintroduce foods properly and how to turn it all into a healthy lifestyle, how to alter recipes, how to create healthy recipes for you and your body. I will leave a link in the description box down below that will send you to a page that gives you more information about the program. You can also shoot me an email or DM me over on Instagram. I am CharleneTown_. I would love to answer any questions you guys have, but the doors are going to close on January 29th, and then this program will not be open again until later this year. So if you are at the beginning of your health and wellness journey, or if you're at the beginning of your journey where you're really trying to figure out food and you don't know what to do and you don't know where to start, this is an excellent place to start, okay? So go shoot me a DM, go click the link in the description box down below, see if this program is right for you. But honestly, you guys, doing this elimination diet changed my life because I learned what foods were causing the inflammation in my body. I will show you guys some pictures of before and afters from when I did the diet because it's pretty astonishing. The only thing I changed in those two pictures, you guys, is diet. Okay, I was doing the same level of fitness. I was working the same job. Like, the only thing that changed was the foods that I was eating. Okay, now the weight came down and I was so into figuring this thing out because, like, I had been eating in a plant-based way for 5 years because I had believed that that was what I needed for my body because that's what I read in books like Forks Over Knives and the Lupus Recovery Diet. And I was like, these people are like me, so this must be what I need. Because these people had conditions very similar to me and they were curing their autoimmune disease with this plant-based diet. So figuring out that eating plant-based was not good for me and my body, and learning that meat actually digests in my body really good, and, you know, figuring out all these little pieces about diet was huge, okay? Then at the end of 2017, it was like fall of 2017, we'll say, I found my holistic doctor that I still currently see. I love her. We had done a gut test because we were trying to figure out inflammation levels. And at the time, I had been doing this Paleo Cure. Like, I was eating really well and really into healing my body holistically. And I was trying to get off my meds, which is why I found this doctor. I wanted to get off my meds. She's an MD who transitioned into holistic medicine. And I wanted somebody who had the knowledge of both worlds, but wanted to treat me holistically. And so we did the gut test. My gut test came back beautifully, okay? And I actually ended up getting off my meds. And then like 2 or 3 months later, I got pregnant. And so then I started a whole new journey. So in 2019, after I'd had my daughter, I went back to my holistic doctor because things were not right. Things were going wrong, and no doctor that I had gone to. So like, again, post-pregnancy, I'm gonna post a picture right here. This is me 6 weeks postpartum. Now I'm gonna post a picture right here. This is me fully pregnant. Like, I had my daughter just a couple weeks later. I had gained 10 pounds in 1 week. The last week of my pregnancy, I gained 10 pounds in a week. After I had my daughter, I continued to gain weight. However, my doctor moved away, and like, it was a whole thing, okay? So my doctor moved away the day that my daughter was born, and nobody caught it because the doctors that I saw missed it. And then when I went to my new OBGYN and was telling her what's going on, she was like, oh yeah, that's normal. Oh yeah, that's normal. All of my symptoms that I had that were not normal, she just like kept blowing off like, yep, it's normal. Yep, it's normal. This is totally normal post-pregnancy. These pain levels are totally normal post-pregnancy. Yeast infections are totally normal post-pregnancy. Weight gain is totally normal post-pregnancy. And I was like really overweight. I was in so much pain, it was ridiculous. And every doctor that I saw was just like, yeah, no, this is totally normal. And I was like, in my soul, I was like, this is not normal. So I went back to my holistic doctor, and you guys, I don't know why it took me so long to, I mean, I know why it took me so long to go back, because I was not in a mental state postpartum. I felt unworthy because it cost money, and it was like a whole thing, okay? Because hormones, it turned out my hormones were massively off, okay? I had developed hypothyroidism post-pregnancy, and so my holistic doctor caught that immediately. We started adjusting my hormones. We did another gut test. It turned out I had a leaky gut, SIBO gut issues, and a parasite. So we started treating all of that in 2020. Oh, that's right, because 2020 happened. Oh, God. Yeah. So then we started treating the SIBO gut issues in 2020. And then I started feeling so much better. You guys, I lost the weight. My inflammation levels were down. My body was recovering from workouts. I'll post some pictures of like my health and fitness journey that I had gone on. And so I want to give you guys my 3 hot tips on what you can do starting today to start working on getting your inflammation levels down. Okay. These are the top 3 things that I highly recommend that you do, okay? And you can start working on them today, okay? So the first is that you will streamline your journey if you do an elimination diet. It's just gonna teach you the most about your body, and you're gonna eliminate all the major trigger foods, right? It's dairy, gluten, alcohol, peanuts, you know what I mean? Like all the major high trigger foods. And then you have to slowly reintroduce them back in, because it can take up to 3 days for one food to start showing signs in your body. So say you do your 30-day elimination diet, right? And you're starting to feel great, fantastic. Then you're like, I'm gonna add in dairy. You wanna make sure to add in one dairy item. That's butter, cheese, whatever it is, but one. So you can't do butter and cheese on the same day, you have to do butter. And if you do butter in the morning, then you have to give it 3 whole days, because you may not show signs until day 3. And those signs can be anything from constipation, diarrhea, anxiety, brain fog, fatigue, you know what I mean? So you have to keep a food journal. And if you guys need a food journal, there's a food journal in the description box down below for you guys. But it's really important to do it properly so that you actually learn the information that your body is telling you, okay? All right, the second thing that you guys absolutely need to do is you need to do a gut test, okay? So you need to find a doctor who is willing to run a full gut test. You need to test for leaky gut. You might have a parasite, high cortisol levels. Test your hormones. Okay, hormone imbalance can cause a lot of inflammation in your body, and you need to have a doctor that's really willing to look for the answers. And so in my case, that's a holistic doctor. Now, you may have an incredible GP that's really willing to work with you and look and dig deeper. In my experience with Western medicine doctors, like they don't even believe that SIBO is an actual problem, and they're just like, it's a made up thing. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. Finding a doctor that's gonna listen to you. And tip number 3 is gonna sound like kind of fluffy, but let me tell you, seriously, if you can reduce your stress and anxiety levels, and if you can get more sleep, sleep is life. I will keep shouting that from the rooftops, but I will tell you, the number one thing that sends me into a psoriatic arthritis flare the fastest, when I'm really stressed out and I'm not getting enough sleep. Boom. In a flare, without a doubt. And it's always when I'm like, I can't crash now, I can't crash now, I have to work harder, I have to get this thing done, I have to get that last video edited, I have to and get like all the things done. Boom, I go down because I don't allow myself to rest when I need to, and my body is exhausted. My inflammation levels get higher because of the stress, and then my body can't, it's like I can't take anymore, and it shuts down. Let me know in the comments down below if that happens to you, okay? So reducing stress, getting enough sleep, meditating, while it's probably the hardest thing to do as somebody with chronic pain and chronic illness, because coming back to my breath and coming back to my body is really hard because I detach from my body. When I'm in a lot of pain, I detach. Maybe you can relate that when I'm in a ton of pain, I can't take care of my daughter and take care of the house and do all the things that I have to do when I'm in that much pain if I'm sitting in it and I'm feeling into my body and I'm acknowledging, hey, I don't feel good today, I should probably take a nap. Hey, I don't feel good today, I need to just relax today. I don't have time for that. My brain tells me that I don't have time for that. So I just put my nose down, I detach from my body, and I put one foot in front of the other, and I'm like, I'll sleep when it's time to sleep. Right? So meditation and gratitude, coming back to the body, coming back to feeling so grateful for this body, even when it's in pain, taking deep belly breaths and really connecting with my body is so, so helpful. Okay. So it's a practice that you do every single day so that you have it during the stressful times so that you can come back to your breath and your body instead of amping up and getting stressed and anxious and all the feelings, right? So those are my top tips. Do an elimination diet, do a gut test, figure out if you've got leaky gut and where the inflammation can be coming from. Do you have really high cortisol levels? Are your hormones off? Like, what's going on in your body beneath the surface? Like, because it's not just your psoriatic arthritis or your Crohn's disease or there's something else going on inside. And if you're taking medication and you still can't stay on top of your pain levels, something else is going on. So if you are being gaslit by your doctor, if you are being told that your feelings aren't real, that your pain isn't real, that your symptoms aren't real, be your own advocate. You are strong, you are worthy, you deserve to be listened to, but also you need to find a doctor who is going to listen to you. You are worthy of that. You need that in your life. So keep looking, okay? Find a doctor who's willing to listen to you, who's willing to run the test, who's gonna do more than one set of blood work and go, oh, everything looks normal, but you still feel like garbage. If you still feel like garbage, honey, you keep looking, you keep trying, keep going, because something is wrong. If something feels wrong, something is wrong. Trust your gut, literally. Listen to your gut, trust your gut, and do what is best for you. Keep fighting, you're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. And if you guys are feeling a calling towards needing some help with doing an elimination diet, go shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm CharleneTown_. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.